Hello, hello, and welcome M2 Tribers. We are so excited to have you in our audience and watching every day with us. My name is Elise Smith, Christian business strategist, and my amazing business partner is
Allie Porter. Hey everyone, I'm your Christian Connector Concierge, and we are here to help you to 10x your faith, your finances, and your future. And we have created the Millionaire Momentum Connector Agency to help you do that. So, with that, Elise, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just got back from an incredible one-day intensive with the one and only Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He's the one who wrote 10X is easier than 2X, Be Your Future Self Now, The Gap and the Gain, like every single book that we are like just devouring and loving every minute of it and telling everyone about. We got to meet the author and give him a hug and get pictures, and I'm just going to tell you, we got some exciting things going on. I can't spill the beans on anything, but there's like some seeds that have been planted that are going to be mind-blowing for not only us, but everyone who decides to come join us in pretty much anything we have, even if it's our free assessment, which I'm going to put at the bottom of the screen here. But you want to tell a little bit about, our experience over the weekend, Ellie?
Oh my gosh. Well, we went there and we're like, okay, it'll be a one-day event, so it's not going to be too much, because normally events are 2 to 3 days, right? Couldn't have been more wrong. I literally felt like we lived a week in one day, which that's pretty normal when you hang out with Dr. Ben Hardy. That's kind of what he does. But it was like we went in there one way and thinking one way, and we walked out completely. We're like, oh my gosh, we're playing too small. We got to play bigger.
Even though we like keep getting bigger and bigger, it's still too small. So
yeah, it was incredible. And there was even like some emotional moments for me, especially because I finally, as we've been going through this process of like up leveling and changing and evolving and becoming, the millionaire versions of ourselves, like it's interesting. It's interesting when you finally decide that you are going to change your way of being. Like it's one thing to say it, but it's another to like actually do it, like actually live it out in real life, and not just in business also, because I found that I'm trying to do it more in my marriage, in my parenting, in my health, in just all these different areas. And it kind of is, it's an emotional exhilarating journey as you're stepping into that. So I don't know. The one thing that I loved about Dr. Ben Hardy too was he is like living his life with us, like in real time. Like he is doing exactly what we're doing at the exact same time, if that makes sense. Like he
quantum leaping.
He's quantum leaping at the same time that we're quantum leaping. And because most times when you see someone on stage and they're teaching you something, or even in an intensive or something, they have gone through it and then they're teaching from being on the other side of it. He doesn't teach like that. He's very much like, I'm in this and I'm going through this, and this is what's happening, and here's what I'm learning, and here's how I'm growing. Now you get to do the same thing, and let's do it together. And it's so empowering and so refreshing, because he's literally updating us like in real time of what's happening in his, quantum leaping, and then and obviously in ours. And it just, that's how I want to be. Like that's how we want to be. We want to bring you on this journey as we are taking these steps to change and grow. And so so today we're talking about what, Elise? Sorry, I'm going off topic here, but I think it's important. I think it's important for people to realize, like, we're not pretending to be something we're not. We are going out and we are making changes, we're making shifts, and we're coming to you every single day, Monday through Friday, to like help you see what we're doing, and then hopefully inspire you to take different steps and to move forward.
Yes.
In a different version of you.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is like one of the most genuine people you will ever meet. I mean, he is just so awesome. And so that's why we wanted to talk about the 5 steps to up-leveling your business and even your life. Like I could put that in the title as well, because everything that we're about to go through is going to help you in every area of your life if you really embody it. And this is just a small piece. Like we get the honor of being in Dr. Benjamin Hardy's program, where it's the Q2 intensive, where we've been up leveling our thoughts and our actions and our business and like expanding our mind like no other. I mean, holy cow, we got done with that day. We're like, just like Ali said, did we just live a whole week in one day? Like that's how many quantum leaps we were able to take, which is incredible. And we'll get you more information on how you can work with him, or, you know, definitely check out his books, all the things, right? But one of the pieces to what he talks about is the 5 steps that Elon Musk talks about. So it's actually from Elon Musk. He's the one who's really come up with these 5 steps, but Dr. Benjamin Hardy puts it in a different perspective for us to view in our life and our business. So that's what we're going to go through here today. So the first one is question requirements. Question what it actually takes to be able to reach the goal. Like we always want to have an impossible goal, because this is where we really get to rely on the Lord, right? God-sized dreams are meant to be God-sized because, Ali, go ahead and finish that.
Because, yeah, they're not meant for you to do them by yourself. They're supposed to be so out there, so big, that there's no way that you could do it. Because if you can do it, then, you know, then that's relying on you. You wouldn't need God, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. So we went in, we'll just be honest with you guys. We're going to be transparent with you every step of the way here, because we've learned from the best, who is vulnerable and shares, you know, his ups and downs and stuff. We went into that intensive with a goal of 1,000 affiliate members by the end of the year. And we realized we're playing too small, which is crazy, right? 1,000 affiliate members, like that's kind of mind blowing already. And so now we are going to, get this, 1 million affiliates by the end of the year. And we have a plan for that. It's not just pie in the sky. Like we are going to work with influencers. We are going to get in front of other people's audiences. Like this is something that can actually be done, which is crazy to think that that's actually what we're going for. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like it's just absolutely insane, but that's the whole point of an impossible goal. The impossible goal is so high that there's only certain ways that you can get there. And so that's where the question requirements comes in. Take an inventory of everything that you're doing. And let's just talk about in business, but this can be applied to life. Take inventory of everything you're doing in your business. Look at the ROI. What kind of return on investment are you actually getting? And because you have that impossible goal, what is not going to take you there? Right? Like I can tell you for a fact that we had an aha moment that if we're working with influencers and our goal is 1 million affiliates by the end of this year, we need a better system. The system that we have is incredible. It is so amazing. But what we need is kind of that network marketing system where it duplicates websites and your name is at the top because you're the affiliate and there's no confusion and all that. What we have now is absolutely amazing. And it's going to help us get to maybe even 1,000, but we'll probably need to switch here in the next month or 2. But it's okay to start with what you have, but question the requirements of what it takes to actually get there. Any other thoughts on question requirements, Ali?
I think when you're questioning the requirements or the assumptions that you have, I think that's when the faith and the growth can happen. Because if you take something as truth or as like this is the only way, you're not going to be open to other ways of looking at it and other ways of thinking. And one thing that he says, his biggest thing is you've got to raise your floor. You've got to raise your standard for what you are going to be doing. And when you're down here, there's a gajillion different ways to get to 1,000 affiliates, for example, right? But if you're wanting to get to 1 million affiliates, that's raising the amount, that's raising who you're talking to, that's raising how you're doing it and what you're doing. And so it raises the floor, and there's only a few ways that you can actually get there. And that's what happens when you start questioning the requirements and the assumptions that you need in your life. And we're applying it to business right now, but you can do that with anything. Question how you're doing something, why you're doing something, and is that the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. So Elon Musk talks about questioning the requirements, which I think is so awesome. The next one is remove more than you think. Your key strategy is to say no, which that's hard. It is just hard, right? I turned down a speaking gig in a city that was probably a couple of hours away, and I've spoken at this stage before. It's been amazing. I just love the owner of the this event that's being put on, and I would love to go, but I had to say no, and I said no gracefully, because we have some personal things that we're going through around that time, but also because I want to get on big stages. I don't want to just be in a room with, 20 people and speaking on stage. That was great for practice. But now Allie and I are looking at publicity. We are in the works to be featured on CNBC and Fox and all these amazing news channels. We're in the works and we've just started that process. And so we want big stages. We want big influencers. We're tired of playing small and we're going to go for it. But we had to question our requirements first and we had to say no. What is another thing we've said no to, Allie?
Oh man, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Remind me, give me the one you're thinking of. Cause then
like our sales calls. We don't take sales calls anymore.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
How do you be in business without sales calls? We have office hours now. People come to us.
Yes. Feel free to steal that, by the way, because it was a total God thing. It was not something we came up with. It was very much because we were like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? If we're not going to take sales calls, then how do we meet people? How do we connect to people? And my husband works for TCU. He is a professor there at Texas Christian University. And he was talking about something and he said, yeah, I have my office hours from this time to this time for my students to come in or whatever. We were just having a conversation about something. And I was like, oh, office hours. That's what we could do. We could have come where they come to us. And then that way, then we truly minimize our time. And I cannot tell you. So if you want to come, it's M2 Mornings. It doubles as a IPA session, which is income producing activity. So basically a co-working session. You can come work on your business, do whatever you need to do during that hour. We start with prayer, we start with devotional, and then we dive into that. But it's really cool because if you need to talk to us or you want to connect with us, come during that time. We'll pull you into a breakout room. We'll talk to you for 10 minutes or so. And it's also amazing. You actually don't need 30 minutes to chat with somebody. You can really get to know someone and figure out if it's a good fit or not within about 10 minutes, which we found as well, which is really cool. Now, if there's a little bit more logistics, you can schedule another time and that's fine. But generally speaking, it's just awesome that we're able to have that,
Yeah, exactly. And we just put that at the bottom too. Is come check it out. If you want to have some time with us, come to our M2 Morning, school.com/M2 Tribe. That's where we hang out every morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for an hour. And so it really helped us because we got to this point, where we're questioning the requirements and we're removing more than we think, especially because if you're in business, you have to do sales calls, right? But that is a phantom rule. That is a rule that we've made up for ourselves, and it doesn't have to be like that. You can actually even have a funnel that's going to close your people for you. That's what we're doing with our incredible assessment. And so, but when we first started thinking about it, it was okay, we've got to create the assessment to the whole funnel and all the pages. And, it took a good, probably 4 months to be able to create the whole thing. But in the meantime, we were on so many introduction calls and so many sales calls that we didn't have time to gain more audience members. We didn't have time to really focus on the things that we wanted to focus on. And I remember Allie challenging me on this because I was like, okay, well, let's just get to a point where we're settled in our business and then we can take away the sales calls. And she's like, how can we get anything done if we've got all these calls that we're hopping on all the time? I was like, yeah, you're right.
And so we actually quit it right then and there. It wasn't and that's the other thing is when we're saying cut out something, just cut it. Stop waiting to cut it. Just cut it right then.
Yep.
Just do it.
Yeah. If it's not going to help you get to your future self and not helping you a direct correlation to being able to achieve your impossible goal, then you need to say no. And you need to say no to friends. You need to say no to sometimes family members. The hardest part, you need to say no to yourself. Right? That can be really, really difficult, but cut out more than you think. You should be adding in things occasionally because you're cutting out so much. Because when you're cutting out, you're focused. If I'm only focused on my big impossible goal and there's only like 2 or 3 aspects to that goal to really help me get there, then you don't need a weekly show like Allie and I used to have. We don't need to do sales calls. We can do office hours. Like there's different ways to approach it, which is so exciting. So let's move on to number 3, because we want to get through all 5 of these. And honestly, we could have a show about every single one of these, right? But the next one is simplify and optimize. What is it that you're focused on? You can't be pulled in 14 million different directions and be good at, like be really excellent at that thing. And so just like Allie was talking about, if your goal is down here and there's 14 million things to be able to do to achieve that goal, you've got to have your goal so far up that there's only a couple of things to focus on. For us right now, we're focused on our people, our processes, and our technology. Like that's really what it comes down to. So we're focused on our affiliate program. We're focused on, making sure that our assessment funnel is working the way that we need it to. And then bringing on team members. Like really that's our main focuses. Everything else is white noise. It might be great at a different time, maybe like a book collaboration or something like that. You get opportunities thrown at you all the time, but just because an opportunity is thrown at you doesn't mean you need to take it or that it's really going to help you get to your future self. So, Allie, any thoughts on that?
No, I think you covered it.
Great. I think it's really, really important for us to understand, like, focus. God always gives me 3 words: simplify, automate, and focus every single time, because I guess I don't learn it year after year. So those are always the 3 words that he gives me. But it's really powerful for us to use what Elon Musk is talking about and what Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about as well. So the 4th one is accelerate. Massive learning cycles. I was listening to his book, Who Not How, this morning as I was getting ready. And the message that came up for me is get to feedback as fast as humanly possible. Launch with something that is not perfect. In fact, maybe it's like your bare minimum, right? But as fast as you can launch whatever it is that you're working on, then you're going to start to get feedback and you can actually optimize from there, which is, accelerating your growth. But you have to get it out there. I'm guilty of this. I spent 4 months on this whole assessment concept before I really got any other feedback other than Allie's. And now I see, some things that we could have done differently or whatever that might be, but just get it out there. Whatever it is that you're launching, get it out there so that you can get feedback. Have you had any experience with that?
Yeah. And I would say with the acceleration, collaborations are key. Connections are key. And really what we realize too is it's who you know and who knows you. And so when you are accelerating, you start thinking in different ways. You're up leveling. You're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about how can I connect with people in a way that will benefit not just me, but them as well. And so in the process, you are serving better. You're being a better steward of what you have. You're getting that feedback as you're, putting out that imperfect thing. But you're doing something. You're not just stuck in your head, and you're not just stuck in the minutia of, well, when it's this way, then I'll launch. When it's this way, then I'll launch, or whatever it is. Like, just get it out there. Just get it out there. And it may feel like, oh, this is like only half done or whatever, but then you'll get feedback and then you can actually make it go quicker and finish it faster and tweak it better. Yeah. And so that's kind of where we're at now, is we're just getting it out there and we're just, going for it. And people are signing up. People are excited about the concept and what we're doing. And it's working. We are finding things that we need to tweak and change and shift along the way. And so we're working on that, which is great, but we're getting it out there and we're not waiting till it's perfect to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. So accelerate, like the only way you can do that is through feedback from other people. So accelerate. So the last one is systematize. And this one is so important because, we want to like think about the end in mind, keep the end in mind. Is that what kind of systems do you need to be able to automate this? What kind of resources do you need? What kind of who's do you need, right? Not just the how, but the who. And we did a whole show on this last week about, who, not how, which is a powerful, powerful concept when you truly understand it. But systematizing is really just creating a process around what it is that you're doing so that you don't have to think about it every single time, whether someone is doing it for you or a system is automating it for you. But even the processes that you do on a regular basis, like think about, there's a post that my old VA did a long, long time ago, and it was one of like our favorite posts that got the most interaction on our Faithful Ladypreneurs Facebook group. And it was, do you put your socks on? Do you put your sock and shoe on first before you on your right side before you put it on your left, or something like that? Think about the processes that you do, even just getting ready in the morning. What can you do to systematize that? And it may not be, I kind of automatically think of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where he's got like all these little inventions all over his house. It may not be like that, but it can be, what can you do to do the same thing over and over again so you don't even have to think about it? We have decision fatigue. That's a real thing as entrepreneurs, and probably as moms and parents and all the things, right? We get decision fatigue. So what can you do to be able to just do the same thing over and over and over again so you don't have to think about it and you don't have fatigue coming from that? Like, there's so much here, so many cool things. But what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Systematizing also allows you to have quicker, easier sales. It helps you to have quicker and easier connections, quicker and easier everything, because it's done in a way that that produces, right? And so just keep that in mind, like in your business and in your own life. Like, how can I make dinner easier? How can I make, folding laundry, like create a system for your laundry, like, which I very much need to do. So now I'm going to go do that today, but you know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to systematize it so that it will run quicker, easier, faster, and have more conversions for you in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's business or life.
Yeah.
So I loved these 5 steps. So I'm just going to recap them really quick. So question the requirements, question the assumptions, remove more than you think, simplify and optimize, accelerate, and then systematize. If you can do those 5 things, man, you're going to go to Mars, right? Just like Elon Musk says, he wants to go to Mars. He's going to go to Mars. And as you internalize these things, as you help yourself and help the people around you to learn how to do this better, you are going to become an amazing, amazing entrepreneur and someone that can really deliver on what you say you can deliver on. It will make your offer more enticing. It will make people more magnetized to you because you have, your processes down. You have your way of being that is working within helping people to achieve what they want to achieve by your services or your product or your mission or whatever it is that you're doing. And one thing that reminded me of in the scriptures, it talks about how God is a God of order.
Yeah.
Right. I really feel like this applies to that, where, having these steps helps you to become more in order and allows you to allow God to work in and through your business better because you are organized and stuff. And I have to say real quick, and then we'll close. I have to say that is not something that I am the best at, or I have been in the past, not the best at. But the millionaire version of myself does really care about having things in order and having things systematized and having things, so whether it is something that comes naturally to you or whether it is something that you need to like work on a little bit more, you can make that a strength of yours. You can see the value of it. And if you really struggle with it, partner with somebody that is really good at it, and then you can learn from them and continue to grow. So
Yes, absolutely. So, in these 5 steps, there are different resources and tools that you might need, right, along the way, especially the systematize part or the accelerate part, the automate part, or whatever. So we encourage you to go to m2connector.com and take our free Christian Connector assessment, because this is going to connect you to great tools and people and resources and opportunities to help you 10x your faith, your finances, and your future. So go to m2connector.com and feel free to put in the chat, what was the one out of these 5 steps that we talked about here today? What is the one that really stands out most to you? Where are you at in this process? And we'd love to be able to connect with you and help you along your journey. So thank you so much for watching, guys. And Allie, let's finish this off.
Stay inspired, believe in Christ, and receive the wealth and prosperity that God has for you. And let's create millionaire momentum with God as our CEO. Take care, everyone.